Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie. Today it is time for another weekly WIP and Chat here on my channel. If you are new, well, first off, welcome. I'm really glad that you're here and hope you enjoy today's video. And WIP stands for Work in Progress. In this case, I'm going to be working on a diamond painting like I usually am in these. Chat just means that we're going to spend a little time catching up and chatting today. So feel free to pull out a project to work alongside me if you would like. You could treat this like a podcast if you just want some company while you're getting stuff done. It's whatever works for you. I do have a playlist of past WIP and Chats if you're interested. It'll be linked below. And yeah, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about what I'm working on and with. But oh, of course, if you are not new and you are back, I'm really glad that you're here too and hope that you're doing really well. I'm going to be working on the kit Persephone from Diamond Art Club and the artist Roy Trinh. I just started this a couple of days ago and am on the bottom row. We're going to be opening up this bottom right corner today. So we'll have some skulls. Now, the colors you're going to see used are going to be really unexpected. You can kind of see that there's some yellows, there's like some bright greens and stuff. And that's how Diamond Art Club translates this kind of, it almost looks like a glitchy effect by Roy Trinh. And up close, it can look like a, oh, is that right? But when you look at the whole piece, it comes together and makes sense. I've seen this one completed and I know I'm going to like it finished. But I know some people commented on my Fairy Tales and Folklore video when I was working on this kit a couple of days ago. And you were like, what is going on with those colors? Excuse me for yawning. I'm apparently tired, but it's one of those, sometimes I feel like you kind of just have to trust the process, and that's what I do with these kits. So anyway, this kit, unfortunately, and I'm so sorry, it has been discontinued, but I do see it pop up from time to time in destash groups or on like third-party sites like Mercari or eBay, so you could keep an eye out there. If not this kit, there's a lot of other Persephone kits out there that hopefully would, tick the box for you if you're looking for something like that. Accessories wise, I have this pen from Butterfly Effectwares. It was from a rose gold drop they did a while back. I opened this in a recent small shop haul but haven't used it yet. This tray is from Munimate. It is the large size, and these are really my go-to tray. I use them a lot, perfect for multi-placing. In my single placer, I'm going to be using this wax in the scent Lemon Sugar Cookie. And in my multi-placer, I'm going to be using this putty from Faze Studios in the classic line, and it's grape scented. So let me go ahead and load up my pen. I don't even need to really clean out, well, I don't have to clean out the single placer, but I'm going to put in my multi-placer. Need a little bit of extra washi tape to actually keep it in place. If you go to put in a metal multi-placer into your pen and you find that it's loose, that's pretty normal. Most pen turners aren't going to turn their pens where the opening is going to perfectly fit metal multi-placers, I think because there's no give to metal multi-placers. So I just wrap washi tape around it, and that kind of gives it the extra little bit that then it fits better and it fits kind of snugly. No risk of damaging the pen. You could also hot glue it in. You can remove multi-placers that you've hot glued in. You just kind of give it a little twist. It'll pop right out. I just am 99% of the time way too lazy to pull out my hot glue gun when I could just grab my washi tape and I don't have to wait for it to warm up or whatever. And there we go. I'm going to clean out the putty. This is old putty. Put some new putty in there. And we'll open up this section and get started. So for this kit, I have decided to do really big sections again, kind of like I did with Mani, my last WIP. I like to section off my projects with washi tape. This kit was came out prior to them doing the perforated plastic cover, but even when it does come with the perforated plastic cover, I very much like to make my own section sizes, just based on the size of the kit and what the confetti and stuff is doing. And with Mani, I did experiment with doing a much bigger section size, and I liked that a lot. I feel like in some ways it went faster. which that doesn't have to be your goal, but often I like my paintings to move along a bit. And so this one I thought, how big would the section be if I divided it into this many rows and columns? And so one of these directions, it's like 17 centimeters, which is a lot, but I kind of like it. Okay. No, I haven't used this putty. It smells like a grape Jolly Rancher. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. That's the thing with putties and waxes, is sometimes they seriously smell so good I want to eat them. Like just take a little bite. Just take a little bite. Just doing this. Oh, shoot. Shoot. That did not work as elegantly as I was hoping. Okay, we'll roll that back in to deal with later. Let's try this again. I'm doing this off screen where I can get like a firm flat surface. Try to get a clean cut. We'll see how well that went. Let's try it again. Okay, that was a little bit better. I've used Thay's Studios putty before. I didn't really have any issues with it, but I think kind of getting it set maybe sometimes is a little bit of a trick. There's the first bit that came out. I'll just kind of fold it back in. It's fine. I feel like that's not quite a deep enough layer. I might need to add a little bit. Well, maybe we'll get started and see. Actually, I need like a tiny bit more. So when it comes to wax and putty, I have thought about doing a video kind of detailing the kind of pros and cons for different kinds and doing kind of like a little mini demo and tutorial. It's something I see requested a lot. And so I am noodling on putting together a video like that, especially just with some of my favorites. I'll tell you what though, I do feel like in a lot of ways, I feel a little bit out of touch, where right now I'm not doing a ton of shopping in general. And because of that, I'm not necessarily always hearing about or coming across new shops. And so I know that there are definitely shops that have opened that, make these different products I just am completely oblivious to. I feel like I used to be so in tune with like all the new shops and all the different things going on, but different phases of life and whatnot. It just kind of is what it is. Let me grab a color. Let's not start with an AB because I just put some fresh putty in there. And even though that one symbol that I know is for an AB is standing out to me the most, we're not going to subject ourselves to trying to multi-place or place ABs at all with fresh wax or putty. Definitely a tip I will include in that video would be if you are trying to multi-place special drills or place special drills at all, don't use fresh wax or putty. Like, let it be putty or wax that you've used for a little bit and so it's not as sticky. Or even just like dab it on your pants leg or something to get some dust in there and that sometimes will make it a little easier. You can also use water to place ABs. Is it Tracy's DP World makes the lily pad? I'm pretty sure that's the shop that came up with these, where it's basically like a little mini sponge that you can then dip your multi-placer or your single placer in and get it a little bit damp, and it creates like a little barrier there. That means that the ABs will come off of your pen fine. It'll still pick it up, but it's not as crazy sticky as if you just tried to pick it up with wax or putty. So anyway, sorry for the random tangent, but hello. Happy Monday. How are you doing? I hope you had a great weekend. It's currently Sunday evening, and I'm currently sitting here overthinking how I'm talking because I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks. Not like a lot as in a lot of them, but I've been reading via audiobook a lot in general this past week. But because I'm wanting to get through more and because this is just what I do, I've gradually worked up my listening speed to I'm at double speed. I'm like at 2 times speed listening to my audiobooks. And I know I've mentioned this before, but invariably when I get into this swing of, without thinking, I just poured out some ABs. Well, let's just give it a try anyway. When I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks or even YouTube videos at a higher speed, I almost adjust in my brain. Like that sounds normal to me talking that fast sounds normal and talking any slower sounds weird. And I've definitely fallen into a habit sometimes, or a rut of I talk a lot faster than I mean to, and without even realizing it. And I'll have you guys sometimes come in the comments like, Katie, but you're talking really fast. So I'm just sitting here overthinking it a little bit. Don't mind me. This is going okay with this putty. I just am trying not to push really hard when I pick them up at all. And I think because I don't have to like squeeze them in between any drills that are already there, I'm not having to push really hard. Just a really light touch is doing the trick. I'll take it. But yes, so besides sitting here overthinking my own talking speed, it's a Sunday evening. All is quiet. My kids are both in bed. And this is normally when I'm winding down from the weekend and kind of getting ready for the week ahead. But my kids have off school tomorrow, and so it feels like tomorrow is more our Sunday than today was. This WIP and Chat's still going to go up like on normal for a Monday. But I mean, I am kind of decompressing and winding down a bit, so that's still fine. We've had we've had a nice weekend so far. I've gotten a lot of diamond painting, a decent amount of diamond painting done. Like I said, I started this kit just a couple of days ago, and it's probably going to take me to the end of the month to finish, realistically speaking. It's a really large kit. I think it's almost deceptively so. When you look at the artwork, or when I've even seen pictures of it finished, I don't think that I truly grasped just how big it is, but I'm going to show you this again. 70 by 105 centimeters. That is huge. You guys, this is the average size of like a landscape from Diamond Art Club, like really highly detailed landscapes and stuff. That's the size of this piece. I feel like typically when it comes to portraits, this is not the size point you tend to see them show up at. And I haven't looked super closely to try to figure out what about this artwork meant that it needed to be such a large size, because again, it feels very unusual to me. But usually there's a reason. There's something in the artwork that's really detailed that wasn't going to show up well at a smaller size point at all. And so I'll have to go in and look a little more closely and see if I can figure out. Often it's faces, so maybe it's something with like her face. So we'll see. There's like a little bit of color blocking ish. There's some. Oh, I almost knocked that tray right into my lap. Oh, my heart's pounding. Everything's fine. Sorry. Get klutzy on camera. There's a little bit of line blocking. I was going to gesture here like, oh, there's some, I can use my multiplacer in parts of this, but yeah, no, it's still going to take me a little bit to get through. But, I was in a rare mood to go ahead and work on a large kit. That doesn't always happen. Often, well, the vast majority of the time, I will avoid buying kits or getting kits at all, or I will destash kits purely because of the size point. If something is bigger than, 60 by 80 centimeters even is pushing it, and then I really have to be in love with the artwork a lot, like really, really, really have to love it in order to go with a even bigger painting than that. Which that is that. I love this artwork so much. And I'm just glad that the way that the timing worked out and everything, it was such that I could actually go ahead and work on it if it's the theme of the event. I'm in the mood to work on a really large kit, and here we are. So I'm gonna take advantage. But this is not my norm. How about for you? What is your norm? Are you someone that, generally speaking, you do really like working on large scale kits, like 70 by 90, 70 by 100, whatever, like that's your happy place? Or are you more someone that's like, give me the 40 by 60 centimeter kits, or 50 by 70 is the biggest you'll go, or something like that? I'm always curious to hear hear what others' opinions are when it comes to sizes of kits. Yeah, thankfully the typical styles of kit that I like to work on, like portraits and a lot of fantasy stuff, often does lend itself to being a little bit smaller size points, and so I can at least end up with artwork that I love at size points that I will regularly work on. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm really just on the first row. The main thing I'm noticing is that these square drills, when I opened up the bag of diamonds, I noticed that there was a little bit of an odor, which I have noticed sometimes with these older kits. And several of the drill colors there, if I get to one in this WIP and Chat, I'll try to show you, but they really want to clump together. They will pop apart, but I mean, it's a little bit of a pain to do. I don't know if it's static or if it's almost like they put them in the bags before they were completely cured or set or something, because I'm like, well, there's the odor and then there's this issue. I wonder like if they're connected or if it's coincidence. I don't know. But yeah, some of the drill colors really want to stay clumped together, and that's kind of annoying to work with. But the quality of the drills themselves, they're not trash prone. The clumping is annoying, but like once you separate them, I can multi-place them. And that makes a big difference. Like I'm really, really glad for that. I'm glad it's not like, oh, they're clumpy and also they're poor quality. No, it's just they're clumpy and then they're fantastic quality. I don't think, yeah, this isn't really a culprit color. It's some of these darker colors. Like I said, I'll be sure to point it out if we get to one in this video. But the colors aren't too drab for me yet. I'm not minding the confetti or the size so far. So far so good. But I'm sure you'll be seeing this in next week's WIP and Chat too. I'm certainly not going to have it done by then. Though, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just feeling very spicy at the moment or something. Side note, have you noticed how many different ways the word spicy can be used and what that can mean to like imply? In this case, I just mean feeling like really mixing it up and doing something just ridiculous, for me anyway. I have this like itch to just kit up all the things. This is also really unusual for me. I am typically happiest with one WIP. I like the momentum I can get going. I like the focus of it. It's just one WIP is almost always my happy place. Maybe two. The way that I was going through my Gems Flow app, looking at different projects I could work on and going, why don't I just have like at least, why don't I just kit up 3 things? There's 3 kits I'm seeing that I would really love to work on. What's stopping me from kitting up all 3 of them? Like, why not? Why wouldn't I? I have not kitted up more than this kit, but am I still tempted? A little bit, but here's the thing. What if I do that? And then this like wild hair passes and then I'm stuck dealing with the consequences. I don't know. Especially because like some of these kits are big. It's not like I'm going with kitting up 3 or 4 different snack size kits. It's bigger kits. So I don't know. I am kind of taking it a day at a time, but it's very possible you'll see a different WIP in next week's WIP and Chat, but this one will certainly not be done. I just kind of, that it's just kit up all the things. I don't have the storage to do so because I have a handful of post reviews I still need to record of recently finished projects that I haven't gotten to yet. But I'll do that and then I'll have some more storage to work with, and then we'll see how I feel when I have storage that is wanting to be filled with more projects. So yeah, I don't know. One WIP at a time, multiple WIPs. How do you guys feel about it? Okay, this is a little bit of an example. I don't know if you can kind of see, like, there's a lot of diamonds that are just clumped together and they all just kind of came down here clumped up. This is not one of the worst culprits, but like all of these down here are clumped up. It's usually in just pairs. And then what I can usually just do is if I shake them into the middle, I'm not going to do it right now because I have too much glue. It smashes into. I'll just grab a container, usually one of the bigger containers from there, and I'll just press it down and it'll gently break them apart. Sometimes you'll have drills go flying if you do that though, so do be cautious of that, I suppose. But again, this is like my lazy person solution where it's like, yeah, I have a drill grinder, or I could just dump the drills into here and then just smash them apart. It doesn't seem to scratch the facets of the diamonds or anything like that. It's just it just breaks them apart, and they're a little staticky still. I don't know. I'm curious what's going on with these, but this kit came out was it produced in 2022? Maybe 2023? Like, they've made so many improvements. It's like, I don't know that there's any point in giving them feedback on it, you know? Like, it's already been fixed. So, I don't know. I did finish Monty God of the Moon since last week's WIP and Chat. I really, really love how that one turned out, and I think I'll probably try to do a post review on that one. That one had a decent amount of that light blue frosted color, and I loved the way that it was used, like in the circle motif in the background, and a couple other little little accent spots in the artwork. It was a really, really pretty use of that special drill, and I really like that one a lot. The way that it has a matte finish to it, and it's more of like a flat kind of look. It's just neat. It's really neat to me. So yeah, Monty God of the Moon is done. It was really tempting to just go ahead and immediately kit up another Chrysopug mythological figure. I ended up putting it up to a vote for my Patreon members, which I'll have that linked below if you're interested in hearing more about supporting my channel that way, with some perks. But sometimes I'll have them help me decide on my next project, and I had put a handful of different Persephone kits up for a vote with them, and it was really, really close between this one and Goddess of Spring, which is a Chrysopug that is Persephone in her spring iteration, lots of like pretty flowers and stuff like that. But this one ended up just kind of edging ahead a little bit, and I was okay with it because this is the one I think I was ultimately the most in the mood to work on anyway. So it worked out. It worked out. Sometimes I really don't want to give anyone else the power to decide what I'm working on next, but I don't know. I'm just in a flexible, fickle mood in some ways lately, so I was okay with it. I am a little bit itching to work on a round drill kit, though. That's the thing, is this is my third bigger square drill kit in a row, and I am missing rounds just a little bit. Just a little bit. I normally, all things being equal, will alternate between drill shapes, but the way that the timing worked out this time was a little bit, with the kits that I actually really wanted to work on, the artwork specifically, it didn't work out that way. That's another reason to kit up a second whip though, right? Is that then I can have a round drill kit in the mix. Oh gosh. But yes, Monty God of the Moon is complete. This one I've got the ball rolling on, and my week 2 video for Fairy Tales and Folklore went up on Saturday. And that was really fun to put together, to actually, if you haven't watched it and you're interested, even if you're not participating in the event, I did a little bit of a lore dive on Hades and Persephone's story, and it really felt like mostly a bird's eye view. I definitely not any kind of scholar. I just wanted to talk through some of the basics and kind of what I was understanding of it, and trying to get a little bit of the history of it, because a lot of my understanding of it is a little bit more modern, or just sort of what I've heard here and there. And I wanted to try to pull together, okay, what actually was part of how the Greeks would tell the story, their understanding of it, like in more detail, and trying to get it more accurate. So I don't know, I always am like, I hope that this makes sense. I hope that I'm structuring this in a way that is coherent, and just that you guys enjoy chatting about something with me that is something I just really love a lot. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. We are doing some weekly giveaways, so if you are participating in the event, you have a few more days to watch and enter for week 2. And then Kate will be doing a week 3 video this Saturday on her channel, so keep an eye out for that. It's still TBD what I'm going to do for my topic for week 4. We're alternating. I have an idea, though, that I just need to do a little bit of research on and see if there's enough to it that I could do a whole video on it. So I'll keep you posted. You'll see it when it goes up either way. But yeah, excited to still have fairy tales and folklore in full swing, and seeing all the different projects everyone is working on has been a lot of fun. And I just saw that we passed 1,000 members in the Facebook group, which is crazy because this is a brand new event and we're keeping it really casual, and I just wasn't expecting that. So thanks, you guys. Also, thank you from last week's WIP and Chat, where I talked a bit about being a little bit uncertain. Oh, this one. Hold that thought. This one has lots of clumpy diamonds. Like, look at all of those ones that just dropped to the bottom. You can see the ones that still stayed stuck in here. It's like this is actually 2 drills stuck together. This is sets of multiple drills stuck together. Yeah, this is a problem color. And then some of these other darker ones are even worse. Okay, so as I was saying, thank you last week for the response and support when I talked a little bit about being nervous about working on too many Diamond Art Club kits in a row. It certainly doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop trying to have a really wide variety of different shops here, including new to me shops and a mix of small shops, of course, even if I've worked on them before. But just the idea that, hey, sometimes the way that it works out is the kits that I want to work on or that fit, what I have going on just happen to be from this one company. I appreciate that I wasn't sensing any bad feelings about that. So I appreciate that and appreciate the encouragement as always. I feel very, very fortunate. The audience that I have, the community that you all make up is such a, I don't know, it's really wonderful and such a blessing, and I am endlessly grateful for it. And I'm always kind of the mind that you attract, I don't know, your people in a way, and I like my people. So thank you for being a part of that and just helping make this a really, I don't know, I don't mean positive in like the toxic positivity sort of way, but more just the this is a safe place to be, I guess, or just a kind place to be. I don't know. I'm not phrasing things very well, but the point is I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for the little community that we've built here, and I appreciate that you're a part of it. No matter how long you've been here, if this is your first video or your 100th video, I'm just really glad that you're here. So we'll see how many DAC kits I end up working on in a row. Speaking of, it's some of the other ones that I want to kit up, happen to be Diamond Art Club kits, but we'll see what actually ends up happening. Because I'm feeling fickle. But yes, so thank you also for the supportive comments last week there are a couple of different things I chatted about, and many of you shared some insight and perspective about Scout being in a cone. I had mentioned, I think, that I was surprised that the vet had told us that he should stay in the cone for 2 weeks, and not remembering that being a thing that we'd had in the past with our pets. And so I really appreciated that so many of you took the time to respond and share your insight and experience with that. And we stuck to it. And we did let him out like a day early. Things really looked healed up, and we kept a really close eye on him, and he hasn't so much as really even gone to sniff at the little stitches that are still there. But my gosh, is he so thrilled to be free. The poor guy. He had gotten very, very vocal started to do these little woofs and stuff, and really letting us know how he was feeling about different things. he'd always have a hard time getting to his toys because he'd go to get one if it rolled under something, and his cone would just totally stop him before he would get close enough. Poor guy. And so he would grumble at us about that. He was being really reluctant about eating his food, even though he had set it like propped up so that he wouldn't have to like bend his neck or do anything really weird. He would drink from his water bowl fine, but he wouldn't drink from or eat from his food bowl from like the same height and setup and everything. So whenever it was time for him to eat, we had to like hold his food bowl for him and kind of get it at the right angle and I don't know, support him that way. So he would grumble at us when it was time for food and all that. But he's recovered really, really smoothly. He's out of the cone and happy as can be, and really easily transitioned back to sleeping in his crate at night. I was a little bit nervous how that was going to go because he really wasn't able to easily and comfortably get in there with the cone on, and we were a little nervous just about safety and stuff. So we had let him sleep in our bed at night, which he didn't, bother us, and he took up a lot of space. He likes to stretch long ways between us. But I was definitely noticing a huge uptick in my allergies with him sleeping in our bed. And yeah, I took allergy medication and stuff, but I just thought he sheds a lot. He sheds a lot more than I realized he was going to when we got him. To be fair, he's a little mutt of a puppy. Like, we didn't know exactly what breed was in there and what his fur would do. And it's all fine, but it seems like him sleeping in the bed is just like a little bit too much for me and tends to overwhelm even when I'm taking allergy medicine. But I was nervous about if he was going to be really fussy about going back in his crate at night since he'd gotten to sleep in the bed with us for a while. But no, thankfully he had gotten to a point where he likes his kennel, his little crate. He feels like it's his little den. And so with absolutely no fuss, he slept in there without, grumbling. So, that was a huge relief because I just didn't know what to expect. And I thought, because it took just a little bit for him to get used to sleeping in his kennel in the first place. And I thought, I don't want to have to essentially crate train all over again. But we'll do what we need to do. So thankfully, non-issue. That's what I was hoping, is that he would sort of understand that like the cone was the reason he wasn't in there. Like, he, I think, wanted to be in there, and now he knows, like, okay, we're back to our usual kind of routine and situation here. So sigh of relief with that. And we'll see. The vet had said it could take a little while to really see if anything changes with his behavior and stuff with being fixed. He's only been on a couple of walks outside without the cone. When he had the cone on, I noticed he wasn't marking nearly as much, but I didn't know how much of that was because he was wearing the cone, But yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see if there are any other sort of behavioral changes or not. But we'll find out. Either way, we're just trying to do the responsible pet owner thing about getting him fixed, and I'm glad that we've got that all taken care of. What else has been going on this week? Oh, I can finally report back that I've been doing my physical therapy exercises. And there was kind of a catalyst of a point this week that really made me go, okay, no, for real though, I have to do these. So I have this shoulder injury that, just really quick, catch you up if you haven't been, if you aren't sure what I mean, is I injured my shoulder from quite literally too much diamond painting in a really not ergonomic setting at a retreat last summer. And I went to physical therapy in the fall and really seemed to get it all healed up and everything. And then I managed to re-injure it in like November. I think it was in November, trying to screw the bracket for a new smoke detector into the ceiling. And instead of getting a power drill, I decided to do it by hand. And I knew it was bad at the time, But I was like, oh, I just want to power through it. And really, really re-injured my shoulder then. And it just hasn't quite healed back up since. And in fact, has gotten worse. And is worse than it was when I originally injured it and went to physical therapy. But I just kept having this just really, really, it's so stupid. But like, I kept not doing my exercises, my physical therapy exercises. I have this appointment on the calendar with my doctor in person for the first week of March. And she had told me when we talked like a week or two ago, she's like, do your exercises between now and this appointment in person at the beginning of March. And then depending on like how they have or haven't helped or how things are looking, then we can decide what to do from there. And then last week I heard Adam kind of calling for help with something with Scout upstairs. Scout was getting into trouble. I was in the middle of something. So I tried to go running to go upstairs to help out. And I reach out to grab like the stair railing to kind of swing myself around to like go really fast. I don't know. I was just trying to move really quick. But something about like I kind of started to slip. And so I don't know if it was how I had grabbed onto the railing and was swinging, but there was also something about the impact of how my hand was like hit the railing kind of hard. My shoulder / bicep hurt so much that I thought I was going to throw up, and I was trying not to scream. Like, I wish I were exaggerating. The pain was so intense. It was awful. And it was really that moment that I went, okay, that's it. I'm doing these exercises every single night between now and when I see my doctor. I've got to get this figured out. So I'm happy to report I've done my physical therapy exercises for several days in a row now. My goal is to not miss more than one day between now and when I have this appointment with my doctor. I don't want to miss a single day. But I'm like, if I get horribly ill or something, or I don't know what else would come up. But like, I have it in my routine. Like before I go to bed, I grab my foam roller, do my physical therapy exercises. And now I can go into this appointment with my doctor having done, I guess what I can, and we'll figure out where we go from there. So, it's a little bit anxiety inducing because some of these exercises, there's one or two in particular that are too painful for me to really even do. And that was never the case when I went to physical therapy and did them the first time. So it's like, no, my shoulder's in worse shape, like significantly worse shape than it was then. So that makes me kind of anxious to see like, okay, what's going on, but I'm not going in for another few weeks. I'm just going to focus on here's what I can do right now. Yeah. Thankfully, like, here's the weird thing. Diamond painting now doesn't aggravate it, like, at all. Really. Cross stitch really does. I cannot cross stitch right-handed. Like I stitched for like 15 minutes a week or two ago and started feeling the pain. And I was like, okay, well, no, I can't stitch at all, even though I was trying to be really ergonomic about it. Something about diamond painting, like in my home setting with whatever my setup is, it does not seem to aggravate my shoulder. So I'll count my blessings with that at least. But speaking of stitching, I've been really, really missing that particular craft. I have this project that has been in progress since like October that I was dying to work on, but I couldn't. And I finally thought, you know what? I am going to try stitching left-handed. I wonder if it's the kind of thing that wouldn't be too difficult to do. It's the kind of motion that I feel like you could hypothetically get the hang of faster than like diamond painting or writing with your non-dominant hand. And there was a bit of a learning curve, but not as bad as I expected. And I was able to, I basically didn't move my right arm at all. I was able to just stitch left-handed. Guys, I finished my project a couple of days ago. I'm so happy. No pain whatsoever. Sorry, I keep yawning. Apparently I'm tired. And I'm glad to be able to have that craft kind of back in the rotation as a possibility without having like any possible injury. But I have a lot of cross stitch patterns that I really, really like and would love to work on, and they're the kinds of patterns that don't really translate to diamond painting form, whether it's because they have specialty stitches or any other number of reasons. And cross stitch is also just really, it's more portable. And yeah, I'm just really glad I can have it back in the mix. So yeah, I finished my cross stitch project this week, and I'm debating what pattern I want to work on next. I have a few that are K-pop Demon Hunters inspired, and there's one in particular that I think is calling my name. So I have all the floss, I have the fabric. It's just a matter of deciding and then working on it. Decisions. Don't worry, I'm not going to turn this into a like cross stitch channel, but I may occasionally give you little updates like I am right now. Let's see what else has been going on. So physical therapy is going well, like my little exercise at home, and then I'm still doing my like weekly talk therapy, which is good because it's been weird. In some ways, I've been feeling like I have some more energy and more ability to be productive and to take on things. Like I spent like an hour and a half really deep cleaning our bathroom the other day, like scrubbing baseboards level of deep cleaning. And, that's something that I just have struggled with, sort of getting up the motivation and energy to take care of stuff like that. It's the anxiety and the depression, but I feel like I've been more productive and had some more like interest and excitement for things that like other hobbies and stuff that I haven't in a while, even just sort of getting back into, I used to love a lot more with like home decor type things and changing out things. Like I have a little tote of some different home decor things, and I would sometimes just swap things around and stuff, do some like seasonal stuff. And I just, really the past several years, that's really fallen by the wayside and hasn't been something I've enjoyed as much. And I've been feeling some of that coming back, which is great. But like hand in hand with that has come some like intrusive thoughts, like, and really, really rough, like negative self-talk that I haven't dealt with in a while. Like that had kind of gone away for a bit here. So having that come back was kind of like a whoa. My brain hasn't, said that to me in like a really long time. I don't love that. So, it's something to bring up in therapy this week. But, man, that's one of those things that just reinforces to me that mental health is a very complex thing, and it's not always like a super linear journey at all. And I'm thankful for supports that I do have in place. And I hope that if you're someone that struggles with your mental health, that you feel like you have some supports in place for that too. I'm going to just get on. I hope it's not going to feel like a soapbox. I hope it's going to feel like support and love only, and lots of empathy. But if you're someone that struggles with figuring out the whole talk therapy thing, finding a therapist, just know that I get it, and I'm sorry that it's really hard. Like just the process of figuring out, okay, who takes my insurance, and is this person even a fit, and do our schedules line up, and X, Y, and Z. And it's like, it's like dating. It's so frustrating too, because it's like I just need support. Like you are where if you're in this place that's like you're feeling like all you need is support, you don't need extra steps, extra hurdles to go over to getting that support. But I just want to encourage you that if you need encouragement to keep trying, then this is that. I also wanted to just mention a resource because I wish that I had known about this sooner, but there's, at least for my state, it was really comprehensive and extremely helpful. There's a database on the Psychology Today website, which who knew that the Psychology Today website wasn't just like for the like articles. Like, isn't there a Psychology Today magazine? I used to think it was just for like a magazine. And when I would like Google like finding a therapist in my area and it would come up with that, I was like, oh, well, that's a weird sponsored thing. That's annoying. Let me find something that actually works. But no, you guys, this is not sponsored at all. The Psychology Today database of therapists, where you can filter by specialty, by gender, by zip code, and by specific, like very specific kinds of insurance, that was a lifesaver. That's how I found my current therapist. And yeah, so if you are thinking that you want to try to get into therapy and not sure how to go about it or overwhelmed by the process, I just wanted to mention that because, again, I wish I would have known about it sooner and not just written it off as like oh, that must not be real. No, this was very comprehensive, very helpful. So best of luck to you. I'm sending you all my love and support with that because it really can help. I know it's not for everybody, but it can make a big difference sometimes. Okay, that's all. Done with my preaching, I promise. Anyway, as far as, let's just talk about other stuff that's a little bit lighter. This weekend, we had a pretty chill weekend. Adam and I didn't do anything big for Valentine's Day. We just went out to brunch on Friday while the kids are at school. There's a cute little hole-in-the-wall place that we get a really inexpensive but really delicious brunch. And so we just did that for Valentine's Day a day early. We also did a date night in where we watched the new Knives Out movie on Netflix. What's it called? It's called Dead Man Rise Up. It's something like that. It was really good. We've seen, this is the third one. We've seen all of them. The first one I think is still by far my favorite, but I liked all of them. This was maybe my second favorite. I think I like this one better than the second one. It was really good. There's, a lot of things that were definitely a little bit of a commentary on current day events, but Adam and I both enjoyed it and didn't feel like it was, I don't know, preachy or shoving things down your throat. We thought it was like interesting, and it was still like it was good storytelling. And like, look, I love Daniel Craig. I love Daniel Craig as Bond, but also like Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc in these movies is just delightful. He's so funny. I feel like he may have even said as much. I think this is like one of his favorite roles to play. Like, this is all that he wants to do. I'm like, you played one of the most famous like action heroes ever, and you're still like, yeah, no, this like goofy detective type. Not really goofy, like he's clever and stuff, but I don't know. It's very different than 007. But I do recommend it if you guys haven't seen it, and especially if you liked the first two, you would probably like this third one. We really liked it a lot. And we were talking about how we just haven't been as good about watching movies together and shows lately. Part of it is because when it comes to me doing my videos for YouTube, I typically am putting up 5 videos a week, and my rhythm right now is to really only do one, like basically record one video a night. I would rather batch film, like just sit down and be like, okay, tonight I'm going to film 3 videos. But often the way that my schedule and stuff is coming together tends to be a little bit more last minute than that for a variety of reasons. And also often it's like I need to film a video and then I'm also doing the editing and the uploading. Like that's my video for the next day, basically. And so I don't always necessarily have time to film multiple videos when it's like, yeah, but I also need to like edit and stuff a video for tomorrow. So Connor also, like around a year ago, he started, because he's getting older and stuff, he started going to bed a bit later. Like we started doing his bedtime later, and so that kind of cut into our evening. Like I lost a little bit more of my evening that way. So, yeah, we talked about all that and we're like, well, how are some ways, like, can I maybe adjust this a little bit? I could do more filming while the kids are in school, but I tend to spend that time running errands and I don't know, just like other stuff. So, other kinds of like work type stuff. Yeah, but all this to say, we do miss watching more shows and movies together. And it was fun to actually get back to that by watching the new Knives Out movie. The kids had their Valentine's Day parties at school, which fellow parents, when did Valentine's Day parties at school, when did the things that kids are bringing for those turn into these big extravagant things? Because look, Connor's got, I don't know, like 25, 30 kids in his class. And like, look, I'm on a tight budget. I was not in a place to be putting together these like goodie bags with multiple different things in them. But he sure brought home at least a dozen. I mean, he's not the only kid that didn't do a big goodie bag, but I was like, some of these, I'm like, there's a lot to this. When I was, not to be that person, really, really not to be that person, but like when I was in school, it was like you were getting the like little cards that were folded in half, and that was it. There was nothing else. There wasn't like a sucker, and if you were lucky, there was a sucker attached to it. There was not a whole treat bag, especially not when it was like, you have to make 25 to 30 of these. Hello? What? Now, if you do this for your kid, I promise I'm not criticizing you. I love it for you. If I were in a different situation, sure, I might do this. If I have the time, if I had the budget, and I felt like I just had that desire to do that thing. I don't have any of those things right now, and so it's not for me. I'm totally fine with other people doing it. I'm very appreciative of other people like doing that and my kid getting to benefit. I'm just curious, when did this change? When did we go from like, oh, it's a cute little class party, like send a little thing, to like fully half of the kids brought in something that was like a whole treat bag that they gave to every single kid in the class. Yeah, just inquiring minds. Just maybe, I don't know. I don't want to call it overconsumption because I feel like that's not necessarily the heart of what some parents are doing at all. And I'm not trying to be insulting, but there's part of me that wonders, like, as a culture, we've moved more towards overconsumption core and everything. It's like we're doing more with this thing and it's taking it to like a next level. Like the Pinterestification, which again, I love it in a lot of, and sometimes that is me, but a lot of the times I don't have the energy for it. And I think I feel bad if I can't match other people's expectations, or if like, I don't know. I don't want to be taking advantage of others. I think that's part of it too. Is like, I want to be able to match it, but I can't always, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Welcoming your insight if you are so inclined to share. But the important thing is the kids had great Valentine's Day parties. They had fun parties at school, and are delighted with their little hauls that were encouraging them and coaching them through how to stretch it out a little bit and not just have a big old sugar rush, but they both had a good time. So that's what's important. And then what else? Oh, and then yesterday I got in this Facebook ad for a train show down in Costa Mesa, and both my kids, like Connor especially, is really obsessed specifically with railroad crossings. Micah also really does like trains, and we looked into this and it was like, well, kids are free. Adults wasn't too much to go at all, and we thought, let's go ahead and take the kids. Let's do something with them. And so we went, and when we first walked in, it was mostly just tables with like vendors selling stuff, and I was like, shoot, this is like not necessarily what we're here for. And like Micah kept wanting to mess and touch with stuff, and it's like this delicate little model train stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, let's keep going. Let's go further back and see if there's more. And then we got into like a section where it was a lot of like tables set up with actual model trains and train sets and everything, where it was like things were moving and there was some stuff that kids could interact with. Like they could push the buttons to control like the movements of the trains on the tracks and stuff. I was like, okay, perfect. Here we go. This is our happy place. And there was also an area they had set up towards the back where it was like they had a couple of really big carpets set up and had a TV on playing like classic Thomas the Train episodes, and it looks like someone had just like dumped out the whole Brio train track store on the carpets for kids to set up and play with. And it was the perfect opportunity to let Micah get off his feet because we were watching the clock, worried about him having a flare up with his legs or hip. And so it was like perfect. He can get off his feet and he can play. Like there's no, oh, be careful. Oh, don't touch that. It's just, this is all safe for him to play with. And Thomas was on the TV and Connor was actually happy to get off his feet for a few minutes too. And then we called it. We were good. So it was a really, really fun afternoon. And it looks like it's an not international. It looks like it's a national show. Or at least like a national organization. I don't remember. It just was called The Train Show on Facebook. I don't remember what the website was, but if anyone has kids that are into trains, or if you yourself are into trains and you want me to drop the link, just leave a comment and I'll try to remember to do that if I haven't. But yeah, that was a fun way to spend a couple hours on Saturday. And then today, Monday, when this video is going up, I'm going to be taking the kids down to Adam's parents' house for a few hours. Adam has a couple of like work things going on, like contract type stuff going on. And so he's going to be busy. But Adam's mom had reached out to be like, hey, I know the kids have off school. Like, if you want, we can come up to you, or you're welcome down here. And I was like, actually, the kids would probably love to get out of the house. And we love just a little trip. It's not even an hour drive. So I was like, we'll come down to you. That'd be nice. They'd love to come down to your place. We haven't been down there in a little bit. So I don't think I'm going to try to take Scout. I think because it'll just be me and the kids. I think I'll just do the kids and I, and Scott will be fine in his crate for a few hours. But yeah, we won't go for the whole day. We'll just go for a few hours and get them out of the house, get some grandma and grandpa time, and enjoy the day off school. So, it's almost been an hour. My gosh, I didn't realize. That's okay. Let me talk about real quickly what I've been reading and watching and listening to. Well, my reading bug has stayed with me. I finished The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, which is the third book in the Mistborn trilogy. I finished that a few days ago, and I really, really did love that book a lot. It was a really satisfying ending to the trilogy, and definitely some bittersweet moments too. I had some friends being like, are you ready for this ending? I was like, I don't know, but I'm scared. No, it was really wonderful. And I did take like a day or two, just sort of emotionally recover. And then I was like, I want to keep reading. And the Brandon Sanderson, he's a fantasy author and has written a lot, like a lot. He has a whole verse called The Cosmere. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And there's just the most delightfully convoluted and complicated flowcharts for what order to read these books in. And Kate had sent me the one. She was like, just so you have it. And this is the reading order I typically recommend too. And so I did go ahead and I started on Elantris yesterday, or the day before, I don't remember. I'm a decent amount of the way into that one too. And I feel like I'm already, I don't know, I feel like I'm excited to eventually get to the Stormlight Archives, but my understanding is that one is very, very long, like very, very long. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad, like I said, to have my reading bug back, and I'm just enjoying it, and it's something that's just so easy to do, listening to audiobooks while I'm diamond painting. And I'm enjoying this fantasy series so much that yeah, it just works out. So I'm back into it for the moment, and yeah, glad to be out of that reading slump. So any Brandon Sanderson fans, I hope you're excited too. And I don't know if I'll actually manage to read like everything he's ever put out, but that's okay. I'm just taking it one book at a time. And then watching, well, I already mentioned to you guys how Adam and I watched the new Knives Out movie. Like I said, definitely recommend if you haven't seen it already. It's on Netflix, and we enjoyed it a lot. And then listening to, well, I guess audiobooks can actually kind of fall under this. They're kind of reading and listening, really. Yeah, I don't think I have anything really new and exciting to mention in my listening to. I haven't been like listening to any YouTube videos as podcasts really this week as much because I've been on this audiobook kick. So I'll just let that fill the spot. Now, as far as what I got coming out this week on YouTube, I'm thinking I might try to do a logbook flip through of my second logbook, which I have now filled up. Dream from Diamond Art Club was the last kit that's going to be in that one. And yeah, I thought it might be fun to do a flip through on that. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. I also have 1 or 2 things in from Udemy shops that I might be looking at sharing with you this week. And a couple of kits I still need to film post reviews on that I'd like to get to sharing with you as well. So that's what I've got in mind, but I'm going to wrap it up here. If you made it all the way to the end, I hope, well, okay, if it's not too creepy for you, why don't you go with the skull emoji, because we've got the typical Persephone imagery of skulls down here that we're working on in this section. If that is too creepy for you, I totally get it. This is about like the extent of like skulls and skeletons that I can handle in artwork. This is really it. If you would rather not do that emoji, how about just pick your favorite fruit emoji? Because, you know, Persephone has her holding a pomegranate in this one. We can go with that if you like. Let me know how you're doing, what you were working on while we chatted today. I enjoyed getting to spend some time with you and hope you did too. And invite you to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do these WIP and Chats every Monday and also do like reviews and unboxings from different companies and tutorials and whatnot. I'm going to try to come up with, you know, at least one tutorial or how-to video for the month of February. So I'm trying to refresh some of those. This year, it's a big goal of mine, and I'm shooting for at least 1 a month, ideally more, but at least 1 a month. It's like my goal to try 1 new recipe a month is like my New Year's resolution. It feels like that should be very, very manageable. It's flexible, but still keeps me on a bit of a rhythm. Anyway, it's all diamond painting all the time here, and I'd love to have you. Either way, though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing very well and that you have a day and a week as wonderful as you are. I'll talk to you soon, friends. Bye.